My story starts at home, the one place I was supposed to be safe. But our house wasn't a home. It was a museum exhibit to the perfect family, and my father Dan was the curator. As a celebrated plastic surgeon, he sculpted perfection for a living and demanded it from his life. Breakfast was a silent, daily ritual. I'd sit there, the only sounds being the clink of my father's fork and the frantic ticking of the clock in the hall, counting down the seconds until my escape. He would scan the paper, never meeting my eyes. He didn't see a daughter. He saw a flawed project. A slouch in my posture, a hair out of place. His disapproval was a physical weight in the room. My mother, Amy, was a different kind of ghost. She lived in a world of forced smiles and frantic chatter about parties and friends she didn't really have. Medicated for a depression that clung to our house like a damp chill, she suffered from screaming nightmares that often woke me. She knew my father was cheating. We all did. But her survival was built on denial. She'd just smile, wider, and pretend the cracks in our perfect family weren't about to shatter everything. This morning was no different. "I'm going to be late," I mumbled and slid out of my chair. No one said goodbye. The moment the front door clicked shut, I could finally breathe. I lit a stolen cigarette just as Lily appeared. "Still trying to look cool, Maria?" She sneered. Lily was supposed to be my only friend, but being her friend meant being a pet she occasionally remembered. I was her shadow, and she loved the attention it brought her. The school bus was a rolling cage of torment. As I stepped on, the chatter died. All eyes on me. Then the whispers and snickers. Mark, a jock with cruel eyes, stuck his foot out. I stumbled and laughter erupted. "Watch it, ghost girl," he spat. I found my usual seat at the back, alone, and pushed my headphones on, cranking the music to drown them out. I'd see Lily draped all over her boyfriend, Sean, and my stomach would twist into a knot. Sean was kind, and I had a pathetic, hopeless crush on him. Of course he was with Lily, the girl who had everything I didn't. I was just existing, a ghost in my own house, a shadow at school. I was hollow, an empty shell, and I had no idea that something was about to fill that emptiness with an unimaginable darkness. That night, dinner was even worse. Mom was on a mission. "I was talking to Carol today," she began, her voice artificially bright. "Her son Jason doesn't have a date for the winter prom yet. And I was thinking, Mom, no."
"Honey, you need to get out!"
"Make some friends," she chirped, ignoring me. "I don't want to go to the prom, and I don't want you to set me up." My voice rose. Dad finally looked up, his gaze cold. "Don't take that tone with your mother. Frankly, it's embarrassing. You have no friends, no social life. What will you do with your life if you can't even handle a school dance?" Embarrassing. That's what I was to him. Not a daughter, but a stain on his perfect reputation. The pressure in my chest became unbearable. "I hate you," I screamed, the words ripping from my throat. "I hate both of you." I fled the table, their shocked silence chasing me upstairs. I slammed my door, my body trembling with rage. From downstairs, I could hear his voice low and angry. Going nowhere. A complete embarrassment. I stumbled into the bathroom and stared at myself in the mirror. Pathetic. Weak. And hated the girl staring back. As I turned, my hand brushed a small box. Something fell out. A faded sonogram. The image clearly showed two tiny forms huddled together. Twins. I had a twin? Why had no one ever told me? Confused, I tossed it back and stepped into a scalding shower, trying to burn the day away. When I got out, the mirror was completely fogged. I wiped a circle in the steam. And that's when my reflection smiled. It wasn't my smile. It was slow, wide, and predatory. I stumbled backward, crashing to the floor. Hiding behind the toilet, my breath came in ragged gasps. Was I going crazy? After a minute, I peeked back. The mirror was just a mirror. My reflection looked as scared as I felt. I must have imagined it, but as I stood and wiped the rest of the steam away, I saw it again. For a split second, my reflection's hand lagged behind, its eyes following me with a terrifying intelligence. And then, it gave me a tiny, secretive wink. I backed out of the bathroom and spent the rest of the night huddled under my covers, convinced I was losing my mind. The next morning, I was a wreck. I tried to talk to my dad. "Dad," I started, I saw something last night." He cut me off without a glance. "Look at yourself. Bags under your eyes, your hair is a mess. Go upstairs, put on some makeup. Try to look presentable." My plea for help was dismissed for my appearance. Defeated, I went back to the bathroom. As I brushed my hair, I saw it again. A subtle delay, a flicker of movement just out of sync with my own. It was real. On the way to school, Lily's new convertible screeched to a halt beside me, with Sean inside. "Get in, loser," she joked. I climbed in the back, forced to watch them. At school, Mark the bully stepped in my path and body-checked me, sending my books scattering. "Oops, didn't see you there," he laughed. But then Sean stepped forward. "Hey, leave her alone, man." Mark sneered but backed off. Sean helped me up. "You okay?" he asked, and his kind smile made my heart flutter. The hope vanished the second I got home to the empty, silent house. That's when I heard it, a whisper coming from my room. "Maria." It sounded just like my voice. I followed the sound back to the bathroom. My reflection stood perfectly still, but its lips were moving. "Don't be afraid," she whispered, her voice echoing in my head. "Who are you?" I stammered. My reflection smiled that same predatory smile. "I'm you, the part that isn't afraid, the part that's tired of being weak. You can call me Airam." "Airam," Maria spelled backward. It was insane, but it felt more real than anything in my life. "I'm always with you, Maria," she continued. "In every window, every puddle. I see what they do to you. Our father, our mother Lily, Mark, they hurt us. And I'm tired of it. What do you want?" I whispered. Airam's smile widened. "The question is, what do you want? Tell me. I can make it happen. Revenge. Respect. Sean, all you have to do is let me help." She was everything I wasn't. Confident, seductive, dangerous. A part of me was terrified. But another part, the part that had been hurt for 17 years, was captivated. "You're beautiful," I said. Airam leaned closer to the glass. "No, Maria," she purred. "We are beautiful. And it's time everyone else saw it too." The next morning, something had shifted. I walked down to breakfast with my head held high. My father actually looked up. "Well, look at you. You look nice." I smiled. "I've decided I'm going to the winter prom." For the first time in years, we had a pleasant breakfast. The power Airam promised. I could feel it. At school, I walked right up to Lily. "Lily, I want you to teach me how to ice skate." She was stunned but flattered. My father, in a bizarre attempt at bonding, decided to give me an early birthday present. He took me to his clinic and then sat me down in his study. "Maria," he began, "for your birthday, I've scheduled a consultation for you. We can fix your nose, maybe some work on your chin. We'll make you perfect." The world tilted. My own father saw me as just another imperfect face to be corrected. I ran from the room, his words chasing me. "He wants to erase you." Airam's voice hissed in my mind, filled with fury. I locked myself in the bathroom. Airam was there, her face a mask of cold rage. "They all need to be punished, Maria," she said. "Dad for his cruelty, Lily for her betrayal, and especially Mark." Her anger felt righteous. The final straw came at the prom. Mark cornered me in a hallway reeking of alcohol. He pushed me against the lockers, his hands grabbing at me. "You think you're so special now, ghost girl?" He slurred. I shoved him away and ran home, straight to the bathroom, sobbing, utterly broken. I looked up at the mirror. Airam was there, calm and resolved. "It's time, Maria," she said softly. "They won't ever hurt us again. Let me do it. We can switch places." I was so tired. I wanted the pain to stop. I wanted them to hurt. I reached out and pressed my palm flat against the cold mirror. Airam did the same on her side. The glass seemed to ripple. A dizzying sensation washed over me, and the world went dark. When my vision cleared, I was looking out from the mirror. I was on the other side, and standing in my bathroom, in my body, was Airam. She stretched her arms, a triumphant smile on her face. She looked at me, trapped in the glass, and gave me a single chilling nod. The invisible girl was gone. A monster was wearing her skin. I could only watch in horror as Airam took my life and twisted it into a weapon. Her first target was my mother. Airam arranged a chance encounter where my mother walked in to find my father with his mistress. The resulting explosion shattered their sham marriage. They needed to see the truth. Airam's voice echoed in my head. No more lies. Next was Mark. She knew his shortcut home through a deserted alley. She set a trap, a thin wire tied between two dumpsters. When Mark came jogging through, she called his name. He turned, distracted, and his legs hit the wire. I heard the sickening snap of bone. He screamed. Airam just stood over him, a cold smile on her face. "Oops," she said sweetly. Didn't see you there. Then came Lily. Airam had been secretly practicing ice skating, teaching herself to move with a deadly grace. At the rink, she was flawless, making Lily look clumsy. Let me show you a trick, Airam said, skating faster and faster in a circle around a bewildered Lily. Then, with perfect timing, she accidentally clipped Lily's skate. Lily went down backward. Her head hit the ice with a sickening final crack. She never got up again. Airam, stop! You killed her! I screamed from my prison. She was a snake, Airam replied calmly. Sean was devastated and sought comfort from the girl he thought was me. One night at a cheap motel, the police called. They had questions about Lily's accident. Sean got spooked. We have to go, Maria. Airam refused. He tried to pull her to her feet, yelling, Maria, we have to! In a flash of panic, Airam grabbed an empty liquor bottle and swung. It connected with the side of his head. He crumpled to the floor, silent and still. For the first time, I saw terror on Airam's face. She hadn't meant to kill him. That's when my mother's nightmares returned, worse than ever. A dream of giving birth to 2 babies. One perfect, the other born with a slight facial deformity. In the dream, my father looks at the second baby with disgust and takes her away. And I finally understood. Airam was my twin. The twin my father murdered at birth because she wasn't perfect. Her spirit had latched onto me, living in my reflection, waiting. Airam knew it too. She had one last piece of revenge to claim. She found my father working late in his office. I have a question for you, Dad, she said. If I had been born deformed, would you still have loved me? He scoffed. What a ridiculous question. Answer it, she hissed. He hesitated, unable to meet her gaze. No, he finally admitted. No, I couldn't. I closed my eyes. I didn't want to watch, but I heard the struggle. The shattering of glass and his final cry. When it was over, Airam stood there, breathing heavily. She looked at her reflection in a shattered picture frame. But this time she couldn't see me. The connection was broken. The prison was gone. She went home to our mother. Amy was sitting in the dark, her eyes clear for the first time in years. She looked at the girl who wore her daughter's face. It's you, Amy whispered. You came back. It seems in the end, Maria and Airam weren't 2 separate people anymore. We were one. The broken parts and the vengeful parts finally fused together. The ghost and the monster, sharing the same body, walking out into a world they had burned to the ground. This story was a dark ride. If it left you with chills, hit that like button and let us know in the comments. Was Airam a monster, or was she the justice Maria deserved? Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for more stories that will stick with you long after they're over.